Hello, Internet. What's going on, Internet? How you feeling? We're doing this. It's Monday. Happy Music Monday. Happy Monday in general. Happy Monday's great band. Really. Fantastic band. Why not? Hope you're doing well. Lucy's over on the couch. She was chilling with me. Then she bailed. She's like, nope. And I guess I got to cope with that. I hope everybody is well. Hello, Adrian from New Jersey. How are you? I get to see the comments from Periscope and YouTube. We got a lot to talk about today. We got some Music Monday stories that involve Billy Joel and the Clintons. We got a story about Paul McCartney. Ringo joined him on stage for a couple tunes. That's essentially what's going on, but we're going to dive into it. And the Amazon strike is happening, and we're going to be talking about the Amazon strike. It is happening right now in real time in, I believe, 4 different countries. Workers at Amazon are striking because it's Prime Day, where you get the Prime shipping or whatever, and workers are striking. They're saying, we demand better wages. So we're going to be watching that in real time. Jeff, I hope your lunch is delicious. I hope you have a wonderful lunch. What's up, Nathan? Happy Monday. Kimberly S., congratulations. Oh, wait. Kimberly said, I need a new cat. I read it kind of fast, and I read that as I got a new cat. Kimberly, I'm sorry if you recently had an animal pass away. My condolences. I'm very sorry to hear that. And whenever you are ready, I hope you get a new cat. You'll know when it's time. You know, usually there's a transition. I'm sorry if that's the case that I said congratulations. Again, I read your thing too fast, and I thought you said I got a new cat. So apologies there. You're saying I need a new cat. If you are dealing with the loss of a loved one, you have my sympathy, and you'll know when it's time. And I wish you all the best in the meantime. But you'll know when it's time. What's up, Karen? What's up, Edwin? I hope everybody is well. What's up, Daniel? Good to see you, my man. I hope everybody is doing fantastic. Happy Monday. And we got a lot to talk about, so we will get right into this. We got so much to talk about. So little time. What's up, Spider? How are you? I hope you are crushing it. Long Beach, been a minute. Good to see you. Good morning, everybody. It is almost officially 10 a.m., which means we officially begin. It is 10. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means you guys tweet me articles, you send me ideas, and that's how we build the show. I'm seeing everything for the first time, just trying to figure it out. That's all we're doing. Guys, we got some fun stuff today. Strikes are happening, music's happening, songs are happening, which brings me to Song of the Day. We'll go ahead and we'll start there. I'm wearing a t-shirt by a band called The Hold Steady, one of my favorite bands in the whole wide world. And the reason I'm wearing that t-shirt is because 11 years ago, the album Stay Positive came out, which is crazy to think that 2008 was 11 years ago. That kind of blows my mind a little bit. Might blow yours a little bit too. I don't know. I feel like 2008 was very recent, but it totally wasn't. And 11 years ago today, The Hold Steady released the album Stay Positive. Still one of my favorites. The track we're going to go with, Constructive Summer. It's the first track. It leads off the album, and it is such a fantastic. It just jolts in there. Just one single guitar starts the album, and then the band kicks in, and Franz keyboards kick in. You guys know Franz Nicolay. He was a guest on this show, and he's back with the band. He left for a little bit. He was sorely missed. He's back with the band. He announced that on this show. So the track we're going to go with is Constructive Summer. It leads off the album, and it's about summer, which we're amid summer. We're going to build something this summer. So beautiful lines in that song. Me and my friends are like the drums on Lust for Life. We pound it all on floor toms. Our songs are sing-along psalms. And this whole town is lifeless. It's been that way our whole life. You just work in the mill until you die. You work in the mill and then you die. But we're going to build something this summer. Let this be my annual reminder that we can all be something bigger. Beautiful lyrics, beautiful poetry by the one and only Craig Finn. 11 years ago today, It's always a good time to celebrate that album, but now more so than ever before because it's the 11th anniversary. Stay Positive. That's the album by the Hold Steady. The track I'm going to go with is Constructive Summer, but I recommend listening to that entire album. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Great rock and roll. Also, today would be Ian Curtis's birthday. Slow News Day pointed that out to me. Ian Curtis would have had a birthday today. Unfortunately, he died tragically via suicide. Ian Curtis of Joy Division. So our other song of the day today, we're going to have two today. Why? Why not? We can. We just did. Other song of the day, Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division. Classic Joy Division tune, one of my favorites. I know it's a pretty big go-to choice, but that track can't steal you wrong. And if you're not familiar with Joy Division, it's a great intro. So Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart again. Hold Steady, Constructive Summer. Boom. So let's go to some more music news here. This happened. So we'll full screen the article here first. So Bill and Hillary Clinton, according to this article, were booed at a Billy Joel concert. Bill and Hillary booed at a Billy Joel concert. So let's go ahead and just play the video itself. You can't really see much. So that's why I'm not like full screening it here. But here we go.
I dedicate this next song to my good friends who are here tonight.
So he's dedicating the song to them. Here we go.
Hillary Clinton.
All right, so let's.
I dedicate this next song to my good friends who are here tonight. Hillary Clinton.
So there were definitely some boos. There were some cheers too. I think obviously the press went with the boos because that's a more alluring headline that they got booed. And the boos were definitely there. I know that some people were like, there wasn't really a lot of booing. I think there was a reasonable amount. Was it like an overall dominating chorus of boos and nothing else? No, you could definitely hear some cheers too. You could hear both. The boos were there, but the cheers were there too. But of course, the media is going to say boos because that's a more alluring headline. It's weird that Billy Joel, given everything that's in the news as of recent, it's weird that Billy Joel would want to give them a shout out at this time. And I think it's really a testament. You know, I was thinking about this as I saw this earlier today. Actually, I saw it for the first time yesterday, but thought it'd be a fun Music Monday story. The time where the Clintons were the most popular as of recent years, basically since Bill Clinton was out of office, the time where the Clintons were the most popular was when Hillary was running against Trump. So basically that little window after the primary and in the general. And even then, she was very unpopular. A lot of people were not happy, as we all remember. But that was still the most popular the Clintons were. And the only reason they were that popular is because the other side was Donald Trump. It was like either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton's going to be our next president. And even then, they weren't popular enough that Hillary could beat Donald Trump. At their most popular, they were not popular enough to beat Trump. That's really saying something. Really, really saying something. And I doubt that all the boos from the Billy Joel crowd was just Republicans. I highly doubt that's true. I have a feeling there was all kinds of people of different political persuasions booing Bill and Hillary Clinton. I would have booed. Wouldn't you have? I certainly would have booed. And there were some people cheering. But if ever there was an audience where you think they would get straight up cheers, Billy Joel concert would kind of be a safe bet. Again, I'm still surprised, given everything that's been going on in the news as of recent, the Epstein stuff. I'm surprised Billy Joel would want to give the Clintons a shout out. And who knows what his motivation was. Maybe they're genuinely friends. I have no idea. But you think if any, let's see. I don't think a Billy Joel concert would be like the safest place for the Clintons to get cheers, but it's got to be up there. It's got to be up there. I'm trying to think like what would be somewhere that's like even better for Bill and Hillary Clinton to like kind of get cheers. I don't know, like what's something that's kind of more limousine liberal-esque than like Billy Joel? And that's not necessarily a diss on Billy Joel. I enjoy his music. I'm just I'm more of an Elton John guy. I'm just being on it, like an Eagles concert. There we go. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. And the reason I'm saying the Eagles is because they have the most expensive ticket out of any other touring band. So, you get a lot of like limousine liberal, like, money, people with money, NPR tote bag folks. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles. That's the best place. I bet if this happened at an Eagles show, there'd be more booze. There'd be more booze. Or excuse me, less booze. More booze. Less booze. That would be like, oh, they just got straight up cheers. Eagles show, they were totally safe. Maybe a U2 show. Maybe. I mean, U2 has a very diverse audience. A lot of U2 fans are I think, pretty big lefties. Although, if they do fall into that category, they must not know much about Bono. Because Bono is not that at all. But, what are you going to do? But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles. But Billy Joel, there were still some folks that were like, no. So Clinton's got booed. But here's a situation where I doubt there were any boos. And here's another Music Monday story. And this one is a lot happier. I don't really care for the Clintons at all. But here are two musicians that I think very highly of. Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. And guess what? Paul McCartney played Los Angeles on the 13th. And Ringo Starr came out. And, man, I really wanted to go. But tickets were really, really expensive. Paul McCartney reunited with Ringo Starr to perform two Beatles classics during the bassist concert at Los Angeles Dodger Stadium on Saturday night. We've got a surprise for you. Wait. Hang on. Here. I'll do it. I'll do it as Paul McCartney. Ready? Here we go. Here's the quote. We've got a surprise for us, a surprise for you, a surprise for everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Ringo Starr. And then Paul McCartney introduced Ringo. And Ringo came out. It was freaking Ringo. Ringo came out. It was Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney. Half the Beatles. The only half that are still alive. So this is as good as it's going to get. Ringo Starr, ladies and gentlemen. I know my British accent is very average. Very average at best. All right. So they embraced, I love you, man. He said that to him. Paul said that to Ringo. I love you, man. And keep in mind, Paul and Ringo, Paul made Ringo cry. That's so that would have been a moment. That I love you, man. They put their differences aside. But keep in mind, during the Let It Be era, where tension was very, very thick between the Beatles, they were really at each other's throats. They were not getting along. Yoko didn't help. It was not a good time for the Beatles. Ringo was trying to be the peacemaker. Paul was really pissed off at the time. Ringo went to Paul's house to try to talk things out, try to smooth over the waters. Paul told Ringo that he would ruin him, and Ringo cried. Paul was, I'll ruin you! And then Ringo cried. He's like, he made me cry. I'm supposed to be a mocker, and I'm crying now. That's what happened. But now, here they are, making peace in the one and only Los Angeles. How beautiful is this? All right, so they said, I love you. Then they started jamming. And what did they play? They did the minute-long Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band reprise. That's the second Sgt. Pepper's on the album. And then they did Helter Skelter. Interesting choice. They did Helter Skelter. So how's that? And there they are. There's Ringo. We can't play the video because of copyright issues. And there's another video. Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, Dodger Stadium. And then Eagles guitarist and Starr's brother-in-law, Joe Walsh, came on stage. That I don't really care about that much. I'm not really big on the Eagles, but I mean, I respect them for what they are, but whatever. Ringo and Paul, that's a little bit bigger to me. So Ringo and Paul jamming out. How's that for a Happy Music Monday story? So there you go. I guess they love each other now, and that is a good thing. I really want to see Paul while he's still touring. I really do, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance. I really don't. I mean, I really hope so, but I have my doubts I'll ever get my opportunity. Tickets are not cheap. I looked into that show, to be honest with you, the show on the 13th. I looked into it a while back, and tickets started at $250. $250. And I'm like, the day's going to come where I'm just going to have to be like, okay, if I really want to go, whatever it costs, I just got to shell it out. It just, I've seen the Stones. I got to see Petty before he passed. Missed my opportunity for Prince. Missed my opportunity for Leonard Cohen. Missed my opportunity for Bowie. I got to see B.B. King. I got to see Taj Mahal. I got to see the Beach Boys. Basically, they're pretty much a Beach Boys cover band, but Mike Love was there, so we'll count it. I got to see the Beach Boys. I've seen Joan Jett. Got to see a lot. I've seen Steely Dan twice, and they played Deacon Blues the second time. By the way, it's hard for me to admit this, but getting back to the first story we talked about, a Steely Dan show might be somewhere where the Clintons get even less booze. I'm a big Steely Dan fan. It hurts my heart to say that. It really does. But if we're being honest, not that I'm a fan, but the fact that the Clintons would, if we're being honest about the general audience, Steely Dan show, Clintons might get even less booze than at a Billy Joel show. Billy Joe show. I wonder if Billy Joe from Green Day went solo. I don't think it'd be all that enjoyable, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe it would be, but I feel like the type of stuff that guy does, it's meant for a band. But Billy Joel, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that'll be our question for the day. In fact, that will be our question for the day. Hold that until later when I go to the chat. Which show do you think the Clintons would get the least amount of booze at? Which artist do you think they get the least booze at? I'm sticking with the Eagles. I'm going to go with the Eagles. All right, guys, here is something that's going on in regards to climate change and something I guess we all need to be aware of here. And this is a real thing that's happening right now. Iko Anxiety. Climate change is causing us Iko Anxiety. All right, so what is this all about? Do the daily climate change headlines make you feel stressed, afraid, or powerless? If so, you're certainly not alone. A growing number of people report feelings of loss, grief, worry, and despair amid news that climate change is making natural disasters like hurricanes and wildfires worse and more common, that polar ice is melting faster than we thought, and that we only have 12 years to prevent the most catastrophic effects of climate change. The American Psychological Association, the APA, has come up with a term for these resounding chronic psychological consequences related to how we process the climate crisis: Iko Anxiety. Iko Anxiety, which the APA describes as chronic fear of environmental doom, isn't listed anywhere in the DSM manual, but it has found its way into pop culture. And I have a feeling if they're that big on it, it'll be in the next DSM. They update that thing all the time. But you know what? You want to have a fun Friday night by yourself, have a couple whiskeys, and then the DSM manual, and just open it up and just read it and see what happens. Just be like, oh, that might be me. That might be me. The DSM manual is very extensive. It is very extensive. So, there's going to be something that applies to everybody, at least something. So I'm speaking from experience. I have actually sipped a whiskey and then read through the DSM manual. And I was like, that's me sometimes. That's me on a bad day. That's me on a good day. That's never been me. That's never been me. And I'm not trying to make light of mental illness at all. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just saying that book is so extensive, and we all have our quirks and we all have our tics. So, that's what I'm saying. It's all about varying degrees. It's all about the degree of what we deal with. You know, they're short. There is a huge difference between someone who is manic depressive and having the blues, which we all have. We all get depressed at times. That's being human. But when it's to a certain degree where you can't get out of bed, where you can't shake it, then it's much different. All right. Just clarifying there. So anyway, Iko Anxiety. Do you have it? Well, you can talk to somebody. All right. Let's move on. .org. So let's go to the strike, shall we? I really want to go to the strike. Amazon is striking right now. Or Amazon workers, rather. Not Amazon itself, but Amazon workers are striking right now. So here we go. And this is happening in real time, so we're going to go to the trend on Twitter, too, right after this. Amazon workers strike to protest working conditions on Prime Day. Labor union says human beings are not robots. Amen to that. Prime Day is pushing workers to protest unfair labor conditions, low wages during Amazon's biggest day of the year. So what's interesting here is that Market Watch shows you stocks in real time. And if you'll notice, Amazon stock is going down. It ain't going up. It's going down. Because Amazon employees in 4 countries have gone on strike amid the company's biggest discount shopping holiday of the year to protest their working conditions and benefits and to demand better pay. So where's this going on? This is going on in Minnesota here in the U.S. So U.S. is one of the countries, Germany, and across Europe and Spain and Poland. So Poland, Spain, Germany, and then the U.S. But in particular, they're singling out Minnesota. I feel like everywhere in the U.S. should. So Amazon workers are going on strike on Prime Day. This is the big day where I'm assuming it means you just get the Prime shipping, which is either discounted or free shipping. And in most cases, I believe, I'm not a Prime member myself, so I don't know for sure. But I'm pretty sure that's what that entails. And workers are going on strike. So let's check out the Twitter trend. Let's see what's happening here in real time because this strike is going on right now. The strike is happening now, in the now, and it's going to be going on tomorrow, too. So if you got a yellow vest today and tomorrow, you should put it on. I don't have mine on today because it's Music Monday, so I wanted to wear a Hold Steady t-shirt since they were one of the songs of the day. But you know, I might have to put that on soon. So here we go. Workers protest loom over Amazon's big sale day. That's happening. Let's see what else here. Yes, it's Prime Day, but it's also the Amazon strike, says Mr. Tuesday. Amazon's warehouses employee are going on strike for better pay. Also, here's a friendly reminder from this person on Twitter. Amazon owns IMDb. Amazon owns Twitch. I did not know that. I did not know that Amazon owns Twitch. That's a bummer. I actually didn't know IMDb either, to tell you the truth. Amazon owns Whole Foods. That I knew. And Amazon owns Audible. Don't cross that picket line physically or virtually. Here's from the industrial workers of the world. Solidarity with those participating in the Amazon strike today. Workers deserve better. Don't cross the picket line. So it's strike day. Here we go. Let's see if we can. There we go. It's strike day. This is the flyer from the IWW. It's strike day. Monday, July 15th, Tuesday, July 16th. Amazon workers are striking this Prime Day against the horrible working conditions and low wages inflicted on them. This is a really bad time for all Amazon workers with longer hours and more intense, quote-unquote, competition. We're asking people to stand in solidarity with Amazon workers and boycott Amazon this week. That means Amazon Store, Amazon Prime, Prime Video, Audible, Kindle, Book Depository, IMDb, Amazon Web Services, Goodreads, Whole Foods Market, Comixology, and Twitch TV. So that Twitch was news to me. I didn't know Amazon owned Twitch. I had no idea Amazon owned Twitch. Audible I knew, Whole Foods I knew. IMDb I did not know. Why does Amazon own that? Like what's probably because it has information. Probably because it has information and data on people. That's probably why. Because it has information and data. So Amazon wants to own it. I mean, why else would you? I mean, I know on a site like that there is money to be made, but why? Anyway, so there you go. So stand in solidarity with Amazon today. If you got a yellow vest, put it on. Don't use Amazon. Don't go to Whole Foods. Twitch, I mean, that sucks because a lot of a lot of content creators are on Twitch, and they have nothing to do with this stuff. I had no idea Amazon owned Twitch. But anyway, participate. Let's go with the flyer one more time. Because here's all it means. This means Amazon Store, Amazon Prime. I know it's a little hard to read for y'all, so I'll read it again for you guys. That means Amazon Store, Amazon Prime, Prime Video, Audible, Kindle, Book Depository, IMDb, Amazon Web Services, Goodreads, Whole Foods Market, Comixology, and Twitch TV. And, I'll say this about a Kindle, too. I still do not own one. And I know there's other options. You can get another reader that's not affiliated with Amazon, I'm pretty sure. But, the Kindle is. So, I recommend if you want to do that, get a different reader that's not affiliated with Amazon. But I still don't have one of those things because I still just like to go to the library and get a book. I want to have a physical book. I want to be able to touch it. I want to be able to mark it up if it's mine. I won't do that to a library book. Although I've never minded it when people did. You know what I mean? Like whenever, if I have a library book and it's like marked up, it's never bothered me because to me, usually the stuff they're marking up is interesting anyway, because they're going to find something interesting that you're going to find interesting. And then it's almost like you're getting another perspective to help you digest something. Because usually when stuff's marked up, it's not like a novel or something like that. It's like an essay or a piece on history or an academic piece of writing. So usually when they highlight stuff, especially when I was in academia, when I was in graduate school and I would get books from the library and they'd be marked up, I actually appreciated it because usually they marked up the meat of whatever it was I was trying to I was trying to digest, so to speak, using the food analogies here, which by the way, I'm trying to fast a little bit again. Not like just intermittently. I'm trying not to eat after 9 p.m. I got into a habit of late night snacking, and it showed. It showed. So I'm trying to get out of that. It's a bad habit, and it's one that I would fall into. Sometimes I would work on scripts late at night. I would work on writing projects late at night, and I'd be like, well, I should just eat. I'm working on something. Let me put stuff in my face. And it's like, no, dude, make a pot of tea, have a little bit of coffee. Why do you got to put food in your face? And I'm like, I'm being productive. So anyway, I'm trying to get out of that habit. And I'm going to get out of that habit by supporting the Amazon store. I don't know how those two things are connected, but I just attempted to connect them. Amazon striking. Support the strike. Support the strike. Stay off of Amazon. Don't use it. Don't support Prime Day. If you know some Amazon warehouse workers, throw them some support. Buy them lunch if you can. Do something. I am going to put on my yellow vest soon. We all got to. And kudos to the workers who are striking. We stand with you. This is necessary. And hopefully the strike goes well and continues and they get some results here. They're hitting Amazon where it hurts. I mean, hey, there's a reason I chose the Market Watch article. And it's because it shows, hey, their stock's going down. So this is effective. This is working. And if you hit Jeff Bezos in the pocketbook, well, guess what? Guess what? Hopefully those workers get what they deserve, which is living wages and good working conditions. There's a long way to go. There's a long way to go because the working conditions for Amazon warehouse employees are horrible. They have an ambulance sitting outside of warehouse facilities because they found out it's cheaper to just take somebody off in an ambulance who passes out from heat exhaustion than it is to have proper air conditioning facilities for employees. It is brutal, Orwellian, and disgusting and dystopian how Amazon treats their warehouse employees. It's absolutely insane. It used to be if you didn't hit a certain quota, they wouldn't pay you. I don't know if that's still the case. That used to be the case. You had to hit a certain quota. They've experimented with machines that they put on your wrist where if you make a wrong movement, it shocks you. They don't have proper air conditioning. Imagine, I've worked in a warehouse before. Imagine working in a warehouse in the thick of summer. And we actually didn't have air conditioning in our facilities because we weren't able to because of the size of it. But we had offices that were air conditioned. And you were supposed to go in there so many times. They were like, go in the office, get some air conditioning, get some water. And then we opened the docks all the time and we had the fans going every which direction. So the air got pretty cool. And we had space coolers and stuff like that, and it was a priority to make sure the conditions were as humane as possible. Amazon doesn't bother with any of that. They don't bother with any of that. It's insane to even wrap one's head around. So support this strike, and hopefully this leads to better conditions for workers. All right. So, and we'll be covering that more tomorrow. It's happening right now in real time. It is happening right now in real time. All right. So here's something that's going on in California. And this was sent to us by Christina. Will Gavin Newsom try to kick Trump off of the California ballot? What? What's happening there? Why would Trump not be on the California ballot? What's going on there? What's Gavin Newsom trying to do? All right, well, let's go to the article and find out. Nearly 2 years after then California Governor Jerry Brown quashed a bill to force presidential candidates to release their tax returns, Golden State lawmakers have returned a nearly identical measure to the desk of Brown's successor. Now California Governor Gavin Newsom has less than 2 weeks to decide the fate of the proposed law. So here's what Scott Wiener is saying. And Scott Wiener was the person who wrote the net neutrality bill. We had him on the show before to discuss the net neutrality bill. It was disappointing for a lot of people not to be able to have confidence that a major presidential candidate and ultimately the president didn't have financial conflicts of interest. Okay, if you think that started with Donald Trump, I got some bad news for you. That's been going on a long time. Donald Trump's not the first. He won't be the last, unfortunately. So this is billed as the Presidential Tax Transparency and Accountability Act. The law would demand that presidential candidates disclose 5 years of federal tax returns in order to be listed on the state's primary election ballot. As a candidate in 2017, Gavin Newsom supported the bill. All right. So Republicans denounced this bill, and they're saying that it's not constitutional. So here's what Trump campaign communications director Tim Murtaugh told CBS News in a statement. What are you hiding? The Constitution is clear on the qualifications for someone to serve as president, and states cannot add additional requirements on their own. The bill also violates the First Amendment rights of association, since California can't tell political parties which candidates their members can and cannot vote for in a primary. Okay. So let's see here. And in 1994, the Supreme Court ruled that states, in that case Arkansas, could not add their own qualifications for congressional candidates. So I don't see why this would be an issue or this would be unconstitutional. And I'm not even just singling out Trump here. Now, one thing the article points out, and one thing that could just kind of make this just a political act, is that in this particular, for instance, Trump might not even need to be on the primary ballot. He's pretty much going to have the nomination locked up, it looks like. So if he's not on a primary ballot in California, probably not going to make a difference. So in some ways, this is just a political act. But looking at this from the broader picture, why shouldn't somebody, okay, if a citizen needs to disclose their tax returns to get a loan or to get an apartment or to get, even in some, to get approved to join a credit union or a bank, why shouldn't somebody running for office, and especially running for the office of the presidency, have to disclose 5 years of tax returns? Why is that an unreasonable request? How does that violate any of their constitutional protections or the Constitution at all? There's certain standards for a person running for presidency, and I think some of those standards involve transparency to the people who are going to vote for them. Why is that an unreasonable, transparent request? Well, we know why, because a lot of these politicians, and Trump's one of them, he's not the only one, he's certainly one of them, are corrupt to the core and have financial conflicts of interest every which way to Sunday. Trump, of course, is one of those people. That's why the Trump administration is against this thing. Is Trump alone? Of course not. Of course not. I think anybody enriching themselves in office, anybody who is becoming richer and richer in office, which, by the way, California, let's not pretend this is unique to Trump. Let's take a look at Dianne Feinstein, Nancy Pelosi, too. So I don't see why this is an unreasonable request for anybody running for office. Now, looking at it in the contemporary sense, if Trump's not on the primary ballot in California, it's not really going to make a difference at all. He's still probably going to get the nomination. So, I can see how this is just an act of political theater in many ways, how people would be like, let's focus on more important things. And Gavin Newsom, of course, hasn't gotten great press as of recently because Gavin Newsom told us we can't have a high-speed rail from San Diego to San Francisco for some reason. 5th largest economy in the fucking world. Can't have a high-speed rail from San Diego to San Francisco somehow. Gavin Newsom also leaves a bit to be desired on fracking. But looking at this bill from big picture, I don't see why this bill's an issue. I don't see how it violates the Constitution as far as somebody running for office. And again, if a private citizen needs to do all these things with their tax returns in general situations, why shouldn't somebody running for public office have to disclose 5 years? I don't think it's an unreasonable request at all. And I think the governor should sign it. I think in some ways it's just a political act, looking at it in the contemporary sense via Trump. Because, again, he's pretty much going to get the nomination. I mean, unless something crazy happens between now and then, which maybe it could, but barring no very significant contemporary event, if nothing like that happens, Trump is going to get the nomination. So, I guess if all 50 states pass the exact same thing. So, yeah. I think you should go for it. I don't see why it's an unreasonable request. And if you're running for public office and you don't want to disclose 5 years of your tax return, it's because you got something to hide. And if you got something to hide, maybe you shouldn't be running for public office. How's that? Maybe you shouldn't be running. Maybe you shouldn't be running. And you know what? I think it shouldn't just apply to people running for office. I think it should apply to people who are in office. I think every year, especially when all of a sudden you have millions and millions of dollars when you're supposed to be a public servant. Gee, where's that coming from? How are you making that? I think we need to see the tax returns. And if you think that's an unreasonable request, you shouldn't be running for public office. If you're not running for public office or in public office and you think that's an unreasonable request, why do you think that amount of transparency shouldn't be expected from somebody wanting to be a, quote, public servant? Why is that unreasonable? It's not. It's not. All right. So Gavin Newsom's working on that. We'll see what happens there. Let's see here. And I think we are going to go to the chat now because I want to chat it up with you guys. And I do have one more thing I wanted to get to, but I'm going to save it for tomorrow. So let me see what you guys are saying. And that's how I won the stream. Citrus Peppercorn, thank you for the super chat contribution. Philip Blair, thank you for the super chat contribution. The Dalai Lama doesn't eat after 11:30 a.m. That's pretty cool. So getting back to my question, where do you think the Clintons would get the least amount of boos? It's a Music Monday question. Which artist, and it can be anything. Maybe you're thinking like a classical show. Classical show. Who calls it that? I just did. Where do you think the Clintons would get the least amount of boos? Tom Myers, Barbra Streisand concert would give the most Hillary cheers. Ugh. Let's see. Atmosphere. You mean Patricia, you mean the rap artist? Atmosphere? All right. James Taylor in a small venue in New York City, says Slow News Day. Huh. Interesting. So Barbra Streisand. What else do we got? Kenny G. Kenny G. And Slow News Day points out average price to a James Taylor show is $550. Holy shit. Beyonce. All right. Those are some good ones. Pod Save America. A live Pod Save America show. I bet you that's a pretty good guess. Although I don't think we can count that as a concert. A1 and A2 says an Eagles. Oh, Patricia clarifies Atmosphere by Joy Division. Okay, gotcha. All right. Beyonce, an Eagles concert. Let's see. What's the question? The question is, where do you think the Clintons would get the least amount of booze at a show, at a concert? Because they got some booze at a Billy Joel show. It wasn't exclusively booze, but there were some booze. So we're saying, where do you think they get the least amount of booze? I went with Eagles. I said Eagles show. I think Eagles show. Frederick Murphy. So if I like the Eagles, are you saying I clap for Hillary, Ron? Really? Nope. Not what I'm saying at all. Not even close. Totally not what I'm saying. Dave Matthews concert. I don't know. Dave Matthews did some stuff for Bernie, though. Yeah, like Dave Matthews did some stuff for Bernie. I love Billy Joel. New York State of Mind is an excellent song. I agree. Tim says a concert on Epstein's Island. Ooh. Let's see. Beyonce performed a fundraiser for the Clintons. Let's see here. Katy Perry. All right. Rascal Flatts. Yeah, Rascal Flatts. There'd be a lot of Republicans there, so they would boo, but it's because they're coming from a Republican standpoint. Fleetwood Mac. That one hurts a little bit because I think you're probably right, but but I like Fleetwood Mac. Same with Steely Dan. Honestly, they would probably get less booze at a Steely Dan show than they would at the Billy Joel show. I bet if that same thing happened at a Steely Dan show, there'd be less booze. But I like Steely Dan, so that hurts me to admit. Jay-Z, I don't know about that. Zach Brown Band, interesting. R. Kelly. Because you like them. All right. What about the most booze? Where would they get the most booze? They would get the most booze at, I guess if we're looking for mass appeal, like maybe like Toby Keith or something like that. Because, obviously in a situation like if it was like a far lefty punk band or something like that, they'd get a lot of booze there. But, those acts aren't typically selling out arenas. And A1 and A2 does point out that Dave Matthews did do a Bernie rally in 2016. Rage Against the Machine, good call, Tim. They'd get a lot of booze at a Rage Against the Machine show. They would get a lot of booze at a Rage Against the Machine show. Kid Rock, they would get a lot of booze at a Kid Rock show, but it'd be coming from the right. Ted Nugent, there you go. They would get a lot of booze at a Ted Nugent show. I think we covered it. I think we got it. Guys, we are totally out of time. Thank you so much for being part of this. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Tour dates, I got them. Vegas, baby. Going to be in Vegas, July 27th. Get your tickets at ronplacone.com. September, where we're going to be in September, we're going to be in the Northern Plains. Grab your tickets now. We got September 4th, Omaha, Nebraska. That show was announced recently. September 5th, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. September 6th, Madison, Wisconsin. September 7th, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And September 8th, Iowa City, Iowa. Grab your tickets now at ronplacone.com. And we're working on Australia. We're working on Australia. Should have more for that soon. If you want to support this show on the sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. For you give what you can level. You get all kinds of exclusive content, including my album. And you help keep the show on the air. You help me expand. I want to do more guests. I want to do more streams. If you are so able and interested, patreon.com/Ron Placone. Please do like these videos, subscribe to this channel. Make sure you're subscribed. They unsubscribe people all the time. So make sure you're subscribed, like these videos, share these videos, watch it in a separate window, and let the ads play through. And don't just do that for me. Do that for all the content creators you know and love, because it helps sustain our channels. We are out of time. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same channel. This has been Get Your News On with Ron. You know the drill. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.